Hello folks and welcome back to Rome Total War. I am Step and this is going to be part 2 of my Imperial campaign where I'm playing as Egypt. And I am looking forward to jumping on into this, but before I do, I just want to give y'all a little bit of a heads up. I did mention this in my Julii campaign, but I just want to make sure that I'm covering all of my bases here. I'm going to be recording while I am recording these episodes ahead of time, and I am uploading them ahead of time as well because I know that when I want these videos to be uploaded, it's going to be a very, very busy time for me. I'm going to be going on vacation when these videos are made public, and then I'm going to be coming back from vacation and I'm going straight into busy season at work. I'm going to be very, very busy, and yeah, I just wanted to make sure these videos were out and ready before this all happens. So the reason why this matters is because if any of y'all are giving me any comments or tactics or suggestions in the comment section down below, and I'm not like responding to it in video and I'm not taking your advice, then that is why. It's just because these have been pre-recorded, but I will try to take your advice into consideration and going forward, you know, once I've come across it. That also goes for like any tardiness on replying to your comments. I'm going to try my best to keep on it, but yeah, I'm just going to be super busy. It's a tough time of year for me, but you know, it's going to be fun as well. All right, as far as the campaign, I'm just going to be still getting my armies ready to go to here so that I can attack Damascus and Antioch and take them from the Seleucids at the same time. On that note, let's take my spy like up here, I think, so that we can get vision on both of these settlements. So Antioch, it is a, this is our capital. I believe it's a large town, right? I think so. Can't really, it's not going to tell us. I think that's a large town. Just says it's a capital. But there's only 2 units in there right now, and it's a wooden wall, so this is the 2nd tier defense upgrade. And Damascus just has the 1st tier, the wooden palisade. And just, yeah, it's just the one-man garrison. Ugh, so tempting. There's a little bit of a Seleucid army hanging about right here. Some militia hoplites, peasants, and peltasts. But we will have to deal with this rebel little bandit army first. It's just an archer unit. So I can take care of that just by sending my general here, Ptahhotep. Yeah, he's more of a governor than a general. But I think, you know, I mean, he will do the job, I suppose. He's in a unit of chariot archers. And can he recruit some guys? Yeah, some Eastern mercenaries and some Bedouin warriors. I mean, they're expensive, but I want all of these guys just because they do not take from my own population of my own settlements. And yeah, I want all of the mercenaries. So that's a bit of money, and I don't need them to win this battle, but I just want them just in case. I don't want other factions to train them, and I guess that's kind of a stretch, maybe, but, you know, if the Seleucids came down here and then just trained some of my, you know, mercenaries in my territories, I'd be a little bit bummed out. So let's go up here and just fight this, and he ran away. That's fine. Now he is no longer in my territory. It's kind of hard to tell, but I would imagine that, see, like the Seleucid, their gray line, their borderline sort of disappears right there. But I'm pretty sure that little mountain pass is not my territory. So yeah, there we go. We just got the bandits in their territory, and that's fine with me. Maybe they can cause some issues for them, even though I will be, you know, taking this province pretty soon. But let's not preempt that. Why, you know, why would we? And there is a Seleucid diplomat hanging about as well. I would not be opposed to them offering me some map information. I would like to sort of get that off of them, just because I am pretty new to this game and I would like to just kind of know where everything is. And one thing I did talk about in my Julii campaign, and I can sort of briefly go over it in this episode. I don't want to like be too redundant for those of you who are watching both campaigns, but at the same time I do want to be thorough as well. So if I can go over this briefly, the diplomacy game in here has been laid a little bit more bare once we got the remaster for Rome, Now, I'm not playing the remaster, but I have watched people play bits of it on YouTube, and we know that there is a few meters involved that kind of help you understand your relations with other factions and their perception of you, which is helpful, right? And it's something that I think Total War players always assumed was in this game, but, you know, it was nice to have a confirmation when the remastered version came out. So there's a few things that we know. There is a strength meter, and I think that one's kind of obvious. You know, you can imagine it has to do with the armies that you have, maybe even your economy. I'm not too sure, but you can kind of like understand what strength means. And then there is the relationship meter, which is how things are between you and that specific faction. And again, I would assume that's mostly obvious. You know, are you guys, you know, talking positively to each other? Are you guys getting deals done? I think that these would be positive influences to that relationship meter. But then there's the reliability meter, I believe is what it's called. And that is how other factions view you based on your, you know, treatment of other factions. And that's where things get a little bit hazy, perhaps, because I don't know if... Now, you can imagine, for instance, if you attack someone that you are allied with, that would damage your reliability. That's pretty obvious, I would imagine, but how far does that go? Would you damage your reliability by attacking someone that you have trade rights with? Because I think that in this game we've always assumed that you just want to get trade rights with everyone so that you can increase your economy and not worry too much about any sort of consequences of that. But now that the remastered has come out, and people, for those of you who have played it and maybe looked at the diplomacy a little bit, have we discovered by now that attacking someone that you have trade rights with, does that sort of, you know, damage that reliability meter at all? Does it make it less likely for other factions to have dealings with you because they see you attacking people that you have trade rights with? Or is that just for like alliances and you know, stuff like that? Let me know. I would be curious. I'm just not gonna know until either A, I play the remaster, or B, I put a lot of time into this game. For now, I'm gonna play under the assumption that I can attack people that I have trade rights with without any diplomatic consequences. I don't know if that's correct, so yes, let me know. I'm actually tempted to play a little bit of remastered, like behind the scenes of this campaign. It goes completely against the concept of this channel. I do want to celebrate the 20th anniversary of this game, not the remaster. So it goes against the concept. So I'm not going to do it on channel, but, you know, until like 20 years from now. But I'm really tempted to play the remastered behind the scenes just so I can learn more about the game, just because it's more transparent. Oh, it's really tempting. It is. Let's get down here. Can we talk to these people? No, we cannot. Could not. Come on, just get there, dude. Almost. We can almost talk to the Numidians. Not quite. So let's see. I know that I have a peasant up here that was supposed to stay back in Memphis. Memphis is my biggest settlement, so having more peasants to garrison here is better. And then let's just bring these guys together up here, and you go there. And then, let's see, you can come up, and then you also can come up. And that looks good. So I am one turn into getting the mines built here in Thebes and also Salamis. That's pretty much what I spent most of my money on in the first turn. And yeah, no regrets. That's it's gonna be a good income once I get those built. And then I trained up a couple of units, and that was it. I just trained up a unit of Nubian spears, which you saw me move up, and then I also trained a unit of slingers in the last turn as well. I think that was it. So yeah, after hiring those mercenaries, and maybe I could have waited till next turn, or you know, 2 turns from now, but no regrets. I'm gonna be fine. But I do have a little bit of money left, and should I spend that on soldiers or stuff? I'm tempted to spend it on soldiers. Not down here, because I think, you know, we want to get a move on and get on those boats. I feel a little bit naked having these boats not in my harbor, and for those of you who are new to this game, the boats cannot be attacked when you're in a friendly harbor, You can just hang out there and just be safe. So if you just have like one boat and you're afraid of the ravenous pirate, fleets that are very strong in the early game, you can kind of just hang out in your harbor and you can be okay until you, build up enough boats to either fight off the pirates or just wait until they leave. Here, I'm kind of playing a dangerous game, just kind of hanging out here, waiting for my armies to get on the boats. Like, I'm not going to get on those boats until everyone's ready to go. But yeah, it feels a little bit dangerous. Luckily, I do have the Lighthouse of Alexandria hanging out, and hopefully this should protect me. In fact, I could read this as well. I didn't read it in the last episode. So after Alexander's death, his empire disintegrated as his generals fought each other. In Egypt, Ptolemy Soter made himself pharaoh, and in around 290 BC started construction of a lighthouse on an island off the coast of Alexandria. This coastline had long been regarded as dangerous for shipping. The scholars of the Great Library were involved in its design and the construction, which was completed in the reign of Ptolemy of Philadelphus. At night, a beacon was kept burning, while during the day, a mirror system reflected sunlight to catch the attention of sailors. The lighthouse was more than 117 meters in height, roughly a 40-story building. Wow, that's big. And was topped with a statue of Poseidon, the god of the sea. It was relatively intact until earthquakes in 1303 AD and 1323 AD. Ah, cursed earthquakes. No, that's too bad. Yeah, what a cool thing. Kind of limp here in game. As I mentioned before, its effect is kind of mysterious. But yeah, and then also I didn't talk about the Great Pyramid and Sphinx of Giza. That's the pyramid. Is the Sphinx also just right there? So this is going to increase the loyalty of Egyptians to the owning faction regardless of culture. Again, a little bit like interesting. Is this just referring to like these three provinces? So like the population in these provinces would always be loyal to whoever owns Memphis, essentially. Because I start with 6 settlements, but you wouldn't call this Egypt, so yeah, is that just all that means? Because I think that when you are attacking Egypt, you want to essentially go after Alexandria, Memphis, and Thebes first, not just for the economic, deficit that can happen to Egypt by attacking these provinces, but also by grabbing this, you can kind of switch the loyalty over to your side. And yeah, as Egypt myself, these places are pretty easy to keep happy. Yeah, I have 6,000 people here, and I only have 2 peasants hanging out. In fact, we can see here, my garrison is only accounting for 25% of my loyalty. And let's see, law 5%, buildings 5%, population boom 10%. Is the pyramid like not represented in the public order? I don't, yeah, it says buildings 5%, so I wonder, do I have a building? Let me check this out. Let me do a little bit of investigating. I imagine I have a building that's giving me, yeah, the Shrine of Horus, so this is giving me happiness. So the pyramid doesn't seem to be represented in that scroll, unless I'm just really misunderstanding things here. Population boom, buildings, law, garrison. Yeah, it's not there. Increases the loyalty of Egyptians to the owning faction. Yeah, so is it just an invisible sort of thing? Anyway, the Great Pyramid at Giza is a marvel, a mountain built to mark the grave of a great monarch. It is truly ancient, built around 2560 BC by the order of Pharaoh Khufu of the 4th dynasty. It is built to a very precise alignment to the 4 points of the compass, and the difference in the length of the 4 faces is less than 1 part in 1,000. Even the slope of each of the faces is an amazingly precise 51 degrees in 51 minutes. Yet for all of this, it is the sheer size of the pyramid which is mind-boggling. For all of its long history, the Great Pyramid and its magnificent companions have awed the imaginations and souls of men who have stood in their shadows. Yeah, that would be pretty cool to go visit those. Yeah, the fact that they're like, still here, you can still see that shit. It's just like, well, that's a long time ago. That's still long ago. I'm still learning. I'm just like starting to learn about, yeah, this part of history, and it just, it's just mind-boggling. It's really fun for me to kind of get into history, like now at this time of my life. I've sort of neglected learning about things like this, and it's been fun for me. So I have, yeah, that money to spend, and I guess I could spend... So I know that up here, so I did train, yes, I did train a diplomat. Nice, smart con. Yeah, I forgot about that. Let's just talk to this Seleucid diplomat right now then. I could have been, when I went on that rant, I could have just did it while I was showing you things. Yes, so, what do I wish to propose? I just, you know, just the normal trade rights, map information, and map information. And I have a 3 influence diplomat. Now, it's my understanding that the influence of diplomats, it doesn't have that much of an impact. It does, it's a little bit more. So, like, it's unfortunate that Creative Assembly sort of really took its time in making diplomat experience have any consequence. In Shogun 1, a diplomat's experience is literally just going to help it stave off assassination attempts, and that's it. In Medieval, it's the same thing. It helps stave off assassination attempts, and then does it decrease bribery? I don't think it does. I think it might, in Medieval, it might also just be like helping you against assassinations. But I'm not 100% on that. And in this game, they did make it so that the influence does have an influence if one side has money involved. And so I would imagine that means less money for you or more money from them. So if you're demanding money, you get more, or if you're offering money, it's going to take less, depending on the influence of your diplomat. That's my understanding, but it doesn't actually have an influence or impact on anything else that doesn't involve money on just one side of these agreements. That was discovered, or this has been written about. I believe he went by Timur, and he was in the org forums, and he wrote a guide on diplomacy in this game. And then after that, he wrote sort of his findings on he did like a study on this, on the study of the influence of a diplomat's influence. And he found that, yeah, it just had to do with if money was on one side of the agreements. So in this case, like, we can kind of look at this. I mean, I don't know. See, that's the thing, though, is I don't know if it, like his counters it, right? So the fact that it's 3 versus 3 on the 2 diplomats, so does that just kind of neutralize it then? So it would just be like a base 0% influence, like, consequence or whatever? Yeah, I'm not sure. But I think what I'll try to see if I can get them to pay me some money. So, you know, what can I get off them? Is 1,000 too much? Oh, wow. They accepted that. I should have asked for more. Jesus. Yeah, okay. Well, it's generous and fair. Yeah, I guess that was too good of a deal for them. But now we can see the Seleucid settlements, and we can see why they're so vulnerable, you know? Like, you know, once we take Damascus and Antioch, then Antioch is going to, like, essentially split their realm in half, because they will have this place right here, and then all the way over here they have this place as well. And then they will have this, which is nearby, sure, but there's also, like, a river right here with a bridge defending Antioch. So not only do you have Antioch's defenses, but you have a bridge as well if you want to just hang out on that. And then here you also have another river crossing, and it's my understanding, and I could be wrong about this, but the difference between a river crossing and a bridge is that a bridge offers a single crossing point, and a river crossing offers potentially multiple. Is it always multiple crossing points, or is it just depends on the map? I don't know, but I think that's kind of what's going on there. So Antioch is a good spot to hang out in. You can just chill in Antioch with one army here. You can have a fort here, just kind of defending this river crossing, and you can just split their realm in half. You can keep them alive. You know, you don't need to attack them, because that puts you in contact with Armenia and Parthia and Pontus. No. You can just let them stay alive and build up, you know, your my provinces until I'm ready to kind of branch out a little bit. And as I mentioned before, my goal is going to be sort of sweeping through the desert and securing the edges of the map, basically. You know, that's a pretty fundamental exercise in these sort of map-based games, right? Secure the edges and work your way in. So I think that's gonna be a good plan. Yeah, we'll see how that works. But I think what I can do is I can take my diplomat and he can go on a little bit of an adventure. Yeah, let's just go talk to Pontus, I guess. I don't need you. Can you not go around? Can you not go through Antioch? Does Antioch just straight up like block that bridge? Interesting. Okay. Okay. Well, I think I have to go. Is Pontus like through here? I think.
Yes, my liege.
Yeah, exploring this map. I think it's fun. I think it's fun exploring. It's kind of new for me, right? Like playing Shogun 1 and Medieval 1. Like, you know, this is just seeing what it takes to move around. Just feels really integral to the experience of this game, and using agents and spies just to sort of like find out what the path is before I send my armies in blind to kind of just, you know, like maybe get stuck or trapped or waste time. That seems very like a natural thing to do, you know, find out where you're going before you send in your gosh darn armies and your really nice generals to either waste their time or to get, you know, trapped or ambushed or something. Yeah, it just feels very natural and just feels right, you know? All right. Let's look at, do I want another slinger? A slinger or a skirmisher? Skirmishers are good. I imagine that I'm just going to be getting 2 siege battles. I don't know if I'm going to be getting much open field battles. And in the siege battles, I feel like the skirmishers are pretty good because you can just throw javelins over the wooden walls. Of course, archer or the bowmen can do the same thing. But yeah, skirmishers, I think they have the same melee stats. Yeah, 3 attack, 4 defense with a 2 shield. 3 attack, 4 defense, 2 shield. So they have the same melee stats. They have better melee stats than bowmen though, because bowmen do not have that shield. So they are down to defensive 2, which makes slingers and skirmishers a little bit better in a melee. You know, not super ideal, but they can kind of like, they're better at counter skirmishing in a way because they can block more shots, put them in loose formation. They can sort of like screen a force better than bowmen can. Bowmen are, you know, these are for dealing damage. You know, these are for killing units. The slingers are kind of a better screen. They can sort of, you know, stay ahead of your units and act as an actual light infantry, you know, that sort of screens your main force, your bulk, and they can also tempt enemy units into charges that the enemy does not really want to be making. And of course, the skirmishers can perform the same role, just a little bit differently. Yeah, let's just get another skirmisher, I think. And do I just want to get a Nubian spear up here? Maybe I do. So that brings me down to... Oh yeah, I got a bunch of money. That's right. I'm like, why do I have more money after training units? Duh. Yeah, I got money off the Seleucids. Oh my god, but those poor Seleucids, they're gonna be broke now. They're not gonna have any money. Oh, those poor guys. Alright, I think, so it's time to look at, like, what's gonna be getting me the most amount of money, right? So, port here is gonna get me, oh my god, a lot of money. Jerusalem is gonna make a lot of money. That might be the, Jesus, do I even have to look at anything else? But anyway, I'm gonna look around a little bit, but, you know, I'm gonna cut this part out of the video, but just so you know, that's what I'm gonna be doing, is looking at the port and looking at the road upgrades for each of these provinces, and just seeing, that's another big boost. Jerusalem, man, you are good, Jerusalem. After deciding on a port here in Jerusalem, and then paved roads here in Sidon, and paved roads here in Memphis, I have 111 denarii left, and that's just short of being able to train a unit of peasants, which I like to keep in my province, or in my settlements, to garrison these settlements. So peasants are the best unit to do this with because they have the biggest unit size while also being the cheapest unit. Their upkeep is only 100 denarii, but by having a full-sized 120-man unit, they are going to have the greatest impact on the garrison. Now the garrison, this number can only ever be 80% of the total public order. You can keep adding more and more units, but this garrison will never go past being 80% of, you know, a positive influence towards public order. So you can tell here that there's room, because of Memphis is a minor city, there's room here for more peasants to increase that loyalty. And this is one area where playing on huge unit scale can help out because you have double those units, which is a lot more men. But in this unit scale, it's going to require more of those units to keep these people happy. Yeah, so it's too bad that I can't train any right now. And, you know, it's not... I think as Egypt, it's an easier spend, I think, to get these peasants going, just because these provinces are very populous. But with other factions, training those big peasant units to keep your people happy can be pretty tough. It's a big drain on your population. But I don't think that's that big of a deal playing as Egypt. So I think, yeah, let me just double check taxes and make sure this is where I want everything to be. So yeah, very high, very high. And then here, very high is fine. Very high. And yeah, I can't go up to very high here. No, I cannot. And then very high. Yep, that all looks good. So I think I'm ready to move on. Yeah, the bandits got pushed out. There's a couple of Seleucid armies. You're hanging out here. What's up here? So we got some militia cavalry, which is like a javelin cav. And then militia hoplites, 2 of those. Yep, so 2, and then some peltas. That's a decent little early game army right there, but nothing for me to worry about at the moment. And yeah, I pretty much just have to like pray to whatever gods I need to pray to not let any roaming or you know, pirate fleets sort of come up. So let's make sure that I drop a save, and let's go ahead and end this turn. Please, no one sink my boats. Alright, yeah, we're safe. We're safe. We made it. End of turn. So we made 364 denarii. Hell yeah, there we go. Big bucks. Big money. Retinue expands. Amos. So who is this going to be? So this is my governor in Alexandria. Did I leave someone there? Or is he new? He just came of age. Okay, I was like, what's going on here? So yeah, he's brand new. He just came of age, and yeah, 1 command star, 1 management. So yeah, he's okay for being 16. Can't expect too much more. And I think I'm going to be leaving him down here in Egypt, even though I could put him on the boats. It's going to be nice to have someone down here just to hold on the fort. So, yep, coming of age, Amos, and then new family member, Bet. Construction report, the mines are finished, and then recruitment report. There we go. So now we are ready to get on these gosh darn boats and start heading on up. So without further ado, yeah, you're going to be hanging out here, and we can't train any units, and we can't get any mercenaries. No, we cannot. All right, well, let's get on the boats. You and then you, and then yeah, let's get up to here as fast as possible. You can come back. Yeah, the bandits are hanging out there. Yeah, you can just come back. Hang out there for now. And Thebes, even though I don't plan on getting attacked down here, let's just get a wooden palisade just to deter anyone from even thinking about it, you know? Ooh, we could just get mines +1. It's funny how they called it just mines +1, you know? Like, in Shogun and Medieval, they called it like a mine complex for the upgrades, but here they're just like mines +1. It's like, yeah. How about the immersion factor, you know? Like, name it something else. It's just like, okay, yeah, it's an upgraded mine, I get it, you know? Oh, it's kind of funny. Anyway, Alexandria, is it time for you to get some paved roads? It might be. It might be, but I think maybe, So I don't have any characters up here in Sidon, so I can't, like, pop out and see if there's mercenaries to hire. Ooh, Greek Navy. What are you? One boat? Well, I got 2 boats, so hopefully I am safe from you. Oh, yeah. Just cross my fingers. So let's go ahead and get some paved roads here in Alexandria. This is my only province that hasn't started building anything yet. So yeah, that'll be a nice little boost of 170 denarii. Yeah, something like that. And then up here in Salamis, same thing as Thebes. Let's get a palisade just to be smart, you know. Everything else is building something right now, so I think I feel pretty good about training some more stuff. Let's get another slinger here in Jerusalem, and then Sidon. Yeah, let's just keep going with the Nubian spears. Do I want spies? Spies are nice. I like spies. Even though they are super expensive, it's just like, oh, I like them. Ooh, before I forget, let's go down here and finally talk to the Numidians. And yeah, let's see if we can get trade rights, map information, and let's see if we can also get a bit of money here. So yeah, this guy, whoever we're talking to, I don't even know if this is probably a family member, I suppose, right? But yeah, let's see if we can get 1,000 out of them. Maybe not. Wow, Jesus, I must be lowballing it. Like these guys, the Numidians just paid me 1,000 for map information and trade rights. Holy goddamn. Yeah, all right. Now I think do I want this guy just to hang out here? Gosh, I don't. I kind of like the idea of having emissaries hanging out next to faction capitals, just so that I can always talk to people when I need something from them. I don't know if it's worth the, is it 50 upkeep for this guy?
Your humble servant.
Do I not? Do I have to go into the recruitment to find out? Yeah, 50 upkeep. And the spy is 100. Jesus. I don't know if it's worth the 50 upkeep, but I maybe, yeah. Like, I like having that vision. I like knowing what's going on. I don't want to be blind. It's something that I've gotten used to in playing Shogun and Medieval. Now, agents in those games do not require upkeep, so it's been way more easy for me to have full map vision and just sort of, you know what's going on everywhere all of the time. And frankly, I think that's more realistic too. I think it's kind of, people had an idea what was going on around them. If they were smart, they had their people going out and sending messages back home and finding out information, and that's just, it was a connected world, I think, to a degree. So it feels realistic to not have this, this darkened shadow just hiding the world from me. It feels better to know, to understand the world around me. And to that end, I'm very tempted to just do agent spam, which I don't, it just so happens that you need a lot of agents to like make them effective. At least in the first 2 games, it's the way to make agents work is with massed agent swarm, basically. Like if you want to turn a region's religion, it's better to use massed priests in medieval, right? If you want to assassinate someone, it's better to use mass assassins. Just using one typically is not going to get the job done. So I don't know, you can call that agent spam, but I just figured that's the only way to really use them. And then, yes, in regards to just having vision on the map, I don't think that's even like, that's out of the question. Like, just, if you want to see everywhere, then yes, use them. Creative Assembly in this game definitely made agents a bit of a steeper price to sort of curb this gameplay style, I think. I think they were trying to curb agent spam a little bit, and I'm wondering if I can just get rich enough so that this doesn't matter. And I am curious to hear your thoughts on this. Are you just more used to playing blind and just really just kind of understanding your immediate surroundings? Or do you also, like me, like to have people all over the place? Maybe not like spies everywhere to like cover the entire, like having vision on every corner of the map. I think that's unrealistic in this game. But my idea of having good intelligence in this game is having a diplomat at least in every faction's capital, and then having like enough spies around my immediate area of operations. Now, building watchtowers in my own provinces obviously will help me have vision on my own territories, but more so than that, I want to be able to see further abroad in my immediate field of operations, I guess. And I think spies is just kind of the smart way to do that. And in addition to that, if any of you know, like, is there the purpose to embedding agents into armies? Because that's something that you can do in this game, but I don't know if there's an application for that. Like, by having a diplomat embedded in an army, are you just protecting your army from getting bribed from other diplomats? Same thing with spies. Are these just ways of countering the enemy agents from spying on your own armies, or bribing them, or assassinating them? And if so, if that is the case, then does it work so that only a diplomat embedded in an army can defend against a diplomat? Only a spy can defend against a spy? Only an assassin can defend against an assassin? Is this how this works? Or can spies, by being embedded in your army, can they like defend your general from being assassinated? It's weird how like little literature there is on this. Trying to search the effects of embedding agents in army stacks in this game has come up with nothing. But there must be a reason for it. Why is it in the game? Yeah, so let me know. I'm super curious. Like, it would make sense that they help you defend against agent stuff, but why would that not be said anywhere? It's just really bizarre. It's really weird. It's really weird that no one's ever talked about this, ever, that I've ever seen. Like, there's no writing anywhere, but anyway, enough of that. So you can see how I can just go on these rants sometimes, but I just want to know. I want answers. All right, let's just, yep, am I already training stuff? Yep, I'm already training troops here. I'm already building buildings. We probably are ready to continue on. Let's just move my diplomat up a little bit further.
Yes, my
Who are we run into? The Seleucid family member. What do you got here? Athenadoros. That's not so bad. 2-star general.
awaiting your command.
Oh, show me your army. And 2 militia cavalry, 1 militia hoplite, 1 peltest. Seems like they're moving armies in this direction. You know, I thought I saw that one go this way. That was like 4 or 5 units. Now this one's showing up as well, so... yeah, they still have, so there's just the 2 units here in Damascus, and the 3 units, 2 militia cavalry here in Antioch. Yeah, that's not going to be a good defense force against my legions of phalanxes coming up. And before I forget, let's actually recruit those peasants that I was talking about. So yeah, here in Thebes, yeah, we're looking at a 15% effect from the garrison, so let's get some more peasants there. Same thing here with Memphis, let's get some more peasants. Alexandria, you know, I'm thinking about getting a diplomat, just so that you can keep moving.
Yes, mighty lord.
And you can go talk to the Carthaginians. So it's gonna be a while, but then I think that this diplomat will just come down to Siwa and hang out, and just keep an eye on them. So yeah, that's gonna be the idea there. And then for these provinces, so that's fine, that's fine. And then you don't need to train peasants for now, Salamis. I don't think so. You already have 3 units hanging out here, don't you? And your garrison's at, so it's already at 80% with just these 4 units. So there's no point in training anything else quite yet. So I think we're ready to move on. Yeah, taxes are fine. Can I bump that up a little bit? No, I can't. Not quite. But everyone else is at very high taxes, and you cannot go up any further. But maybe once I train those peasants, maybe I will be able to. So path blocked. Yes, yes, yes. Alright, so just we should be able to land these troops in the next turn. The spy is just going to hang out here, keeping an eye on these two provinces. Let's drop another save, and let's get this invasion underway, shall we? We made 2,500. That feels very good. Oh, that's so good. Yeah. Wooden palisades, and the porch has been finished. An alliance between Scythia and Thrace. Okay, good for them. Doesn't really have any effect on me. And yeah, let's go ahead and let's get on. You can probably, yeah, honestly, you can probably come to Salamis. And why is it going that way? Go that way. No? See, I feel like that's like a little like yeah, that's kind of awkward having that thing there. Oh, whatever. Yeah, there's a Seleucid navy hanging out, just one boat. But if I can get these two Nubian spears and this unit of skirmishers on board, they can then come on over and help out. So yeah, no mercenaries for me to train here. But I think at this point, without moving further at all, let's consider now how I want to split these up, because yeah, we can't quite attack from Jerusalem into Damascus. We're like so close. We can move to the edge here and get ready to attack, and then how far can you get? Not far at all. So it would be another like 1, 2, 3 turns before I want to attack, if I want to attack both of these provinces simultaneously, which I think I do, just to really blitz their faces off. There's a little army here hanging out, nothing too impressive. So yes, at this point, let's spend a moment to consider how I want to split this up. As you can see, I have the forces. Like, this is plenty to deal with what I'm seeing so far. This is a rebel, just in case, you know, if you are new to this game. I know this looks very similar in colors to the Seleucid colors, but this is a different shade of a gray, so these are the rebels. So I don't have to worry about any reinforcements coming from Palmyra. I just have to be keeping my eyes up here, basically. And essentially, just like, it's this bridge here, and then this bridge here. Although they don't have to go over the bridge, they can kind of come to the mountain pass, which my diplomat is hanging out in. So, kind of tempted just to keep my diplomat like closer, actually, instead of going all the way over here, maybe. Well, no, because they can't pass through this. This is all impassable. So they would be coming through. Is it? Can they do this? It almost looks like they can't. I don't know. It almost looks like they can come through here. Huh. Because it's again, for those of you who are new, it's the X, you know, is places where you can't go, and then the circle is places where you can. So I found that if you trace an area, you can kind of find out, but still, to me, it's a little bit hard to tell sometimes, you know. So maybe they, but then what about this? What about the shore? I don't know. I feel like no. I feel like they can't. So they might only be able to pass through this mountain pass here. Oh my god, getting the paved roads here in Jerusalem is going to be insane. Look at that. Look at how much money that is. 270, 300. Jesus. Oh my god, that's so good. And yeah, I get a decent amount from administration as well. Yeah, definitely get some more paved roads here in Jerusalem. And can anywhere else build stuff? Salamis, do I want to build stuff here? Land clearance, just to like get that population growth, would be a good idea. I think it's pointless to build roads on a island because it doesn't connect to any of the provinces, so the roads wouldn't be getting you money. I did test this just to like make sure that I wasn't being stupid, but I did build this in a practice campaign, and then I built the paved roads because those are the only roads that increase money, are the paved roads and then the highways, but the highways are only available to the Roman factions. So yeah, I built up to paved roads on Salamis, and yeah, it didn't give me any more money, so I did test that out. So, I'm also considering I'm considering getting a temple of Imhotep here as well, because this is going to be giving, is it Imhotep or is it, I'm thinking the wrong province. This does give the increase to trade goods, doesn't it? Further down, yeah. So if we look Imhotep, and if we look here, we will get increase to trade goods, as well as experience bonus to troops trained. So I feel like Imhotep is a good one to build in any coastal region that has trade goods, honestly. That might be my main temple. In addition to that, it's interesting because it also gives a greater boost to happiness as well. So if we look at, for instance, is that what we want to compare it to? 10% there. So like Imhotep, I think, gives a greater boost here because Isis, for instance, gives a 0.5 to population growth and then 5% to happiness. And you might think like, okay, so this is a population growth one, right? Well, Imhotep also, see, there's nothing here about population growth, but that health bonus is like a hidden population growth thing. If you look in here, I think you get a total, yeah, you get more population growth from, no, you get additional 10% from public order, and then you get an additional 0.5% to population growth. Whereas if you look at ISIS, you're just getting that 0.5 and then 5% instead of 10% for public order. So Imhotep all the way, like it feels like. Until, like maybe there's really specific instances where ISIS is better. Let me look at what ISIS's Pantheon does. So it gives you law. Law is good. Law is really good because it reduces the corruption, which is going to be making more money in the long term. That would be an interesting little test to look at because the increase in trade goods that Imhotep gives, there's no law here though. So these provinces are going to be like super corrupt unless you just have really good governors. But there's only so much you can do with that, right? But that law from ISIS is pretty good. In addition to that, this also doesn't like, show unless you kind of look at it, but that population growth also adds to that happiness as well. So we're not looking at a 35% happiness boost here. I think it's 35 plus 25. So we're looking at a total of 60 plus 70 with law. So the Pantheon for ISIS is giving you a 70% a public order boost, essentially. Which is, I think, better. That's pretty sure it's way better than Imhotep. Imhotep's just going to give you a 50%. You are getting the experience bonus of troops trained here, though. So it's a little bit of everything for Imhotep. It gives you, like, the trade goods, the health bonus, which increases the population. Experience is good. But if we're looking at just money, just like the money that a province can make, I don't know if the increase to tradable goods is going to be enough to like, have that same effect that 10% public order bonus did to law. Yeah, that's an interesting one. I guess it might be worth like trying to look at, using ISIS and then Imhotep on different provinces just to kind of see. In that regard, man, I'm really like thinking about this now because I know Imhotep is a good province to pair with another settlement of mine, Horus. So like Horus and Set, they look like they're the same, right? 5% to happiness, 5% to law. In both of these. Obviously though, if you go to the Pantheons, you will get different results. So Set, 10%, 10%, Horus, 10%, 10%. So these both have law. Law is good, right? But then if we get to the Pantheon or the temple city of Set, what do we get here? So you're getting a population growth bonus of 1% at the late game, which is a weird time to get that. That's like not when you want that. If anything, that's like a negative. You don't want that. But 25% law is good. The health bonus is complicated though. Again, like that can reduce squalor, but health bonus also increases population growth. Yeah, it's complicated. So it's hard to. My poor little brain can't think about what, if this is good or not. The 25% law that seems really good though. And countering squalor, if you get like a net gain off of this when you're pairing it with the population growth bonus from both of these traits right here. Yeah, it's hard to say. But Horus, on the other hand, you get, again, happiness in the law all the way until you get this temple city. And then you get upgrades to your light weapons, upgrades to your heavy weapons, upgrades to your armor. And yeah, you get that, that 50% law and happiness combined together for that public order. So Horus seems to be like a temple that you want to pair with Imhotep. So like Imhotep would be in a neighboring settlement to a settlement that has the Temple of Horus, so that you can train your troops in one province and then retrain them in another province. Get the experience in one and then get the weapon upgrades and armor upgrades in the other. That seems to be pretty a basic thing. And I know that we already started with Horus here in Memphis, which makes me think that I should have Imhotep here in the yeah, Horus. Yeah, so get Imhotep here in Alexandria is what I'm thinking. And then I also know that we have, it's the same thing. So we have Horus here in Jerusalem. So I'm thinking about getting Imhotep here in Sidon. And that makes sense. Sidon has glass and timber as trade goods. Alexandria has grain and then glass and I think silk as well for trade goods. So getting Imhotep for that trade goods bonus in Alexandria and Sidon, I suppose does make sense in that regard. So can I build? No, these provinces are both building roads still, so I can't do that yet. What about Thebes? Is it time for paved roads here in Thebes? The port's not going to give me anything because the port's going to be here in this little, like in the Red Sea, but once I take, I think it's Bostra, which is like here. Once I take Bostra, then I can make money off of the port here for Thebes, but not yet. The paved roads, what is that going to give me? Yeah, it's a nice little boost, like 100 denarii. That's okay. The mines, though, oh, give me that mine. An extra 225. Oh yes, I think I want that. I mean, I have the money for it. Why not? Why not? And I already have a set here. Okay, so I start with set here in Thebes. Okay. So probably like the most confusing temple to me. And maybe it's not bad. I just don't really know. But yeah, that's the one, just to remind you. That's the one that like has this, which is, yeah, it's a little bit confusing to think of all of that in my head. try to sort that out. Yeah, the Egyptian temples are very interesting. I think it's kind of a fun dilemma to think about. And in my practice campaigns, I was thinking about going Imhotep all the way in all coastal provinces that had trade goods in it. But now I'm wondering if I wonder if ISIS, because it gives that population growth bonus, but so does Imhotep. That's the thing. It's so weird. Like you get population growth from this, but you do get more law in ISIS than you do in Imhotep. And then in Osiris, this is the one that I have not talked about. I think this is just straight happiness. Like it's pretty much just straight. It's like just, yeah, happiness all the way. Just basic. And then it gets to the end, and then I think this is a total of 70%. So 50 plus 10 with law, and then 1% population growth bonus, so that counts as another 10%. So another 70% altogether, which is also interesting. You're not getting that population growth till the very end. Another thing to consider, again, just to really explode my brain, is that these temples are going to be giving different priests that also are ancillaries for my characters, and those also have a big impact. If you have a character that hangs out in a certain settlement that has a temple in it, it can get a priest from that temple, And the priests are good. They're important characters to have. You know, like if we look at do I have any? Yeah, like the magician, stuff like that, like +2 influence. Like we could have a priest from a temple that gives traits like that, where it's like, Jesus, you know, +2 influence. That's good. You want that influence. It's really helpful. You know, so there really is a lot to consider. Also, in addition to the ancillaries, you also get traits based on the temples that they hang out in. Now, unlike the ancillaries, which I think are mostly always good, I think there's a couple ancillaries that are not good, but I think most of them are. Traits, however, are much more nuanced. You really have a wide range of bad and good, and that, you know, also applies to the temples, right? To the traits that you get from temples. I know the happiness temples, like the fun temples, I think in this case for the Egyptians that would be Osiris, I think, can give you like, you know, like as a drunk basically, and he just likes to party, and that's going to make him a bad governor and general and leader and all that stuff. So you do have to be a little bit careful with this, but since I'm new to this game, I can just feign ignorance and just kind of test everything out and just see what happens to my characters, because I want to see it all. I don't, since I know so little about the exact details, I want to see this, you know? The traits system in medieval is just so janky because so little of the traits had anything to do with what you actually did with your characters that it was just kind of like, oh, he has incest and I did nothing wrong. Like, you know, I haven't married a single princess to any of my characters in this campaign, and all of my guys have incest, and you know, it's such a bad trait because they lose so many stats from that in medieval. So there's just not that big of a tie between your actions and your traits in medieval. There is, you know, with some of the traits, but like a lot of it isn't. And you know, like if you have the perversion trait in medieval, where they prefer young boys for companions, you might think like, oh no, that's gonna be like he's not gonna have any kids. It has nothing to do with that. No, he just loses piety as a stat. So there's like not that big of an impact. Whereas in this game, this is wonderful. Like this is a really, really good system. I really enjoy it. So yes, I will be playing with that a little bit. But going all the way back to what I was saying before, it's time for me to look at my armies and think about how I want to have them split up to take on both Damascus and Antioch. So this is what I've decided on. I think I'm going to be sending my faction heir and his 3 stars. He has the highest amount of command stars alongside his dad, the faction leader. So he's going to be going off to take Damascus. So he's going to be meeting up with this army, which came from Jerusalem. And he's going to be bringing one of the Egyptian chariot archers, as well as 5 Nubian spears, and 1 archer to meet up with him. Tahotep, yep, the 1-star general. And yeah, just with these units, the skirmishers, the slingers, the 2 archers, the Nubian spears, the Eastern mercenaries, and the Bedouin warriors, that will be plenty enough to take Damascus. And that's going to be leaving the faction leader himself to move up there with Kia and his 2 stars. And then, yeah, one of the chariot archers, the 3 bowmen, Nubian spears, a couple skirmishers at bowmen, and then the Nubians and skirmishers that are here in Sidon as well will be picked up on our way north to Antioch. In fact, we can just kind of get on our way.
Out of moves, great lord.
So we will be ready to attack, and yeah, like I said, probably 2 more turns after this, we will be attacking Damascus and Antioch. I had to leave a Nubian spear back here in Jerusalem just because even on very low taxes, or just low taxes, there's no very low in this game. But yeah, they still weren't happy with that, so I had to leave him behind. Should I just train a unit of peasants instead? Should I do that? Because sometimes I feel like you can kind of get away with the population order being okay just by taking those men out of the... because they immediately get removed from the population, which reduces a squalor, which can like increase your public order just enough. even without that unit having, you know, being in existence yet, just by removing that population can be enough sometimes. But I don't need to play around with that right now. I think this is a good place to end this episode as we get ready to, yeah, as I mentioned before, just blitzing the Seleucids off of the Levant. So yes, unfortunately, it's going to be a while before I play this campaign again. Yeah, as I am pre-recording all of this, it's probably going to be like 3 weeks before I play this campaign again. I'm going to miss it so much. You folks, not so much, because yes, we'll be watching this in order, so I think you can probably come down to Memphis, because you are essentially the, you know, the guardian of my core territories. So you can hang out in a more central position so that you can more properly defend. I'm not worried about the Numidians quite yet. I think they will kind of start knocking around eventually, but right now I just want to be able to see bandits if they pop up. And yeah, I should probably start sending him around to set up watchtowers as well. That wouldn't be the worst idea. Because yeah, I can just kind of put you there. Build a watchtower, only 200 denarii. Yeah, I really like having that. That's a cool thing. Just getting that vision. We'll see it. It's more obvious once that diplomat goes away, but yeah, it really just shows us a lot of stuff. So, but yeah, it's gonna be tough waiting 3 weeks, but I'm really gonna enjoy this campaign once I'm able to jump back on into it. So until then, I hope you all enjoyed this one, and thank you very much for watching. This has been Conasip playing Rome Total War. Thank you very much, and goodbye.